So, good morning, everybody. Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are around the world as you listen into the Global Innovation Management Institute's weekly think tank webinar. We bring speakers from around the world to speak about innovation around three different types of topics. One is innovation trends, and innovation trends are basically forecasting what the future is going to look like. So for those who are in the innovation space, they'll really appreciate this. It's the trends that tells you what the world looks like 5 years from now. And based on the world and what it looks like, we can start inventing things today to create the future tomorrow, right? And so we talk about trends. That's one part of the topic. Then the second one is we talk about innovation management. What are the latest techniques, knowledge, know-how emerging in innovation and innovation management? And this is beginning to move towards our own version of Innovation 4.0. As we saw Industry 4.0 and we saw other things go to 4.0, innovation management itself is transitioning to much more digital-based tools where we can actually create ideas and concepts and brochures very quickly using ChatGPT, and we can do visualization of these things using 3D printing and prototyping, but we can also gamify things. We can also war game things. We can also simulate things into the actual marketplace. And so much of the risk can be played and simulated in laboratories before they actually go to the market. The Innovation 4.0 is coming, and we talk about that also. And the third one we talk about is what's going on in innovation around the world. And this is at the country level, and we look at the ecosystems that are being built around innovation. And those ecosystems could be between universities and corporations, between startup communities, and how they interact with each other to actually drive the speed of innovation. Today, we've got a fantastic speaker and a partner, a good friend of GIMI and the IXL Center, Beatriz Daza, who has been doing innovation for years. We first met with her working with the governor in Atlantico, where they were building an innovation district, and we worked closely with her at that moment. We worked closely with her in the Chamber of Commerce of Barranquilla, where they have been accelerating hundreds of companies and helping them become more innovative. And then more recently, we've been working closely with, again, with Beatriz in the university environment through MacondoLab. And this is one of the most innovative things that I've seen in a long time, where universities are beginning to act as consultants. Universities are playing a role in building an ecosystem in terms of prototyping and archetypes. It's not just a producer of students, but a producer of ideas, students, and actually even artifacts that can be commercialized. The story I believe Beatriz is going to share with us is this connectivity between how does the Ministry of Science work with the universities, work with prototyping, artifacting, work with startups, communities, student teams also, and combine all of that together to drive what we'd call a vibrant innovation ecosystem to be able to do bigger, better, and bolder things faster and cheaper. So with that, Beatriz, a true expert on innovation from Colombia. And I think the world would like to know what you guys are doing, and we would like to learn from you. So the floor is yours. Come on, if we can add Beatriz to the table. Beatriz, welcome. How are you?
Hi, Hitchenbra. Thank you so much. I'm very happy to be here with you today, sharing our story. I know sometimes people won't realize that what happens in Colombia, and mainly in a small city, it's not the capital of the country, but I like to think of Barranquilla as the capital of the Caribbean coast of Colombia. And what we have been doing from the university and how we have been impacting not only the city, but also the Caribbean part of Colombia. Because with you, we have been partnering for a long time, working together to promote and foster innovation in some other cities outside Barranquilla, like Santa Marta and Valledupar, which sometimes it is a challenge, but it is a reward, because it is the first time that the companies from these other cities and other states are knowing what innovation is and how their businesses can grow and can do better through innovation. So yeah, it is a real pleasure to be here with you and to share our story. And hopefully people will learn something from our story and would like to also collaborate and and learn a little bit of how do we promote and foster innovation in a developing country, and especially in a region like the Caribbean coast of Colombia.
Yeah. So Beatriz, one of the things that most people think is a lot of these great innovative ideas come out of North America or Northern Europe, and it's not true. What we have seen is some of the best innovation comes on the peripheries and the boundaries and the edges of wherever things are happening. And what I want to tell, just let the audience know, is Colombia is a very special place in terms of it has embraced innovation wholeheartedly. It's pushing it down from the government level. It's involving the universities, which is not the case in the United States and perhaps even in Europe. It's involving small startup communities as well as SMEs, small businesses, to interact together. And the roles have been all turned around. What used to be consultants' roles are changing. What's the professor's role is changing. And so you guys are actually innovating the innovation ecosystem itself also. And so I think everybody in South America, watch out for what's going on in Colombia. And I believe both Europe and North America can learn with some of the things that you guys are doing also to talk about. So with that, I'm going to give you the floor, Beatriz. You've got a presentation, 20-25 minutes of presentation, and then everybody in the audience, get your questions down, and then we'll do a Q&A after that.
Great, thank
Beatriz,
you. Thank you so much. So I'm gonna share my presentation. Hold on a second.
No worries.
Okay, so
This sort of technology issues are happening across the
yeah,
world.
and guess what? Guess what I'm using? Just guess what I'm using. Guess. Just take a wild guess. Are you
You're using a phone to do this meeting?
are you? Can you guys see already my screen?
Yes, we can.
Yes,
Okay.
Beatriz.
Okay, great, thank you. Just gonna close this. So we are MacondoLab. MacondoLab is the hold on a second. I'm trying to go back and it's not going back. Hold on a second. There we go. Okay, so MacondoLab is the Business Growth and Entrepreneurial Center of Universidad Simon Bolivar. Just to give you a little bit of context, Simon Bolivar is a university located in Barranquilla. We do have a campus in another city, in Cúcuta, which is right next to Venezuela. And later I'm going to share some things that we have been doing over there, specifically tackling the challenge of migration from Venezuela. And what we do here is that we foster innovation as a means to have business growth in our territory. We strongly believe that doing things through technology development and innovation is the way to go to have an impact in the economic development of our region. Hitendra, this is a Mac. I'm just aware that you don't like the Mac University, and I'm understanding why right now.
No worries.
Okay, so like I told you before, Macondo is the Center for Entrepreneurial Growth and Innovation of Universidad Simón Bolívar. What we do basically is that we promote entrepreneurship and business growth based on technology and innovation. And this is very important. We believe that traditional companies and traditional business models exist, but we strongly believe that innovation, especially technology development, are the key to success, economic success. And we like to say that we do it in a dynamic, passionate, and flexible way, because when you are working with technology and you are working with innovation, there's something that you can't do, and it's not be aware of changes, it's not being aware of what's going on your environment, and not being flexible enough to change according with the situation that you are living in any given moment. I think we all learned that from the COVID pandemic, but still, it is interesting to note that companies that live this uncertainty with the COVID pandemic are going back to the way the things they do during the pre-pandemic era. So we still have a lot to do. We still have a lot of challenges with companies, and we're working with them to trying to help them think out of the box, which is the way to generate innovation, and innovation that has a positive impact in the environment. How do we foster and promote innovation? We have like 4 main values. The first one is the creation of an entrepreneurial and innovative culture. Like I told you, I don't know what happens and with what's going on in the world, that they are going back again to the use and ways from the pre-pandemic era. Like the pandemic, okay, they had an impact in the economic, but they're going to the ways the way they used to do things before. And what we're saying, people and companies especially, is okay, this was the pandemic, tomorrow might be another thing. So you have to have an open mind to understand the environment, to understand what's going on in your country, in your city, in your region, and be open to do innovative things that will have an impact not only in your business, but also in the community that you develop your business. And so that is a mindset, capability that we're trying to install in all the companies that we work with, also with the government, because we work closely with government, because we have to build a community of users that strongly believe in innovation as a means to foster economic development. The other value that we work with is a generation of entrepreneurial and innovative capabilities. I know we are a university. I know that, and like Itendra said, there's a way that consultants have business, is that having their clients or users going continuously back again to the consultancy firm or the expert to look answers. We do like that, obviously, but we like to build capabilities within the companies, because as much as we want, we are not able to serve all the companies located in Barranquilla, and even to think in the Caribbean coast of Colombia and Colombia itself. So we have to understand that we need to build capabilities within the companies themselves in order for them to do innovation on a daily basis. The other value that we promote is the open innovation. And this was something very difficult to establish here in an academic environment when MacondoLab was created in 2014, is that the knowledge does not come only from the academy. The knowledge comes also from companies, from people that have been doing an economic activity for many years, and we cannot underestimate and take for granted what they have learned and what the knowledge that they have gathered during those years. What we do is that we like to take the knowledge that is generated within the academy, the knowledge that is generated within the companies and the corporate sector, combine them through collaboration and experimental work in order to have a new knowledge, to make a new knowledge, to do something different, to have really innovation that impacts the economic development of a company. And finally, but not the least important, is the integral development. I know we're aware that our market and our users and clients are companies, but the people that make innovation are human beings. So we take care of the people are not only our staff of researchers and professors, but also the staff of the companies. We put a lot of effort to have a warm relationship with them. We put a lot of effort to have empathy with the people that we work with, because at the end of the day, we are human beings, and technology is not going to overcome people. Technology is here to help people do and have a better life, have a better way of doing things, but we do not believe that technology is going to overcome people or push them down in any sense. What is it that exactly we do in Macondo? Well, we have a line of work that we work with startups, right from the ideation or discovery process up to the acceleration process. We work with startups not only in their business development part, but also with the technology that they are willing to introduce in any given market. We help them sophisticate that technology. We develop with them, it's either softwares or hardwares or whatever it is, the technology that they bring into the table, and together with a strong business model, with a strong strategic planning, help them launch their business venture and help them grow. So we have a line of work that for startups, technology-based and innovative startups. We have a line of work in innovation per se, specifically innovation systems, and this is something that I want to upon is that we do not work alone. For instance, carrying out programs of innovation systems, we partner with IXL. For those of you that were in the beginning of the conversation, you might have heard that we work together, not only in Barranquilla, with companies in Barranquilla, but also in other cities in the Caribbean coast of Colombia. And we do know that we are not able or capable of doing that by ourselves. So we partner, and we try to partner with people that handle or manage a level of excellence, because we are very picky, you can say that with that. And we try to choose the best partners to work with and to partner and collaborate and co-create to bring results to companies that believe in innovation as a means of business growth. And also, we help companies that have a scientific or R&D teams to establish their innovation units. In Colombia, if you want to access to some benefits that the Ministry of Science, Technology and Innovation have, you should do the things the way the ministry says that R&Ds must be developed in any given unit. So we help these companies that don't have a R&D discipline, or don't have a strong group of staff or researchers to attract talent, to establish all the processes in order for them to have a systemic innovation R&D unit that will help them not only do innovation within their companies, but also benefit from the policies that the government has for them. The only other line of work that we have here is education. Normally, in the universities, the academic director is in charge of undergraduate and postgraduate programs. Here in Universidad Simon Bolivar, because we think out of the box, because we have our foot in the business and corporate sector, the programs that have to do with entrepreneurship, innovation, business innovation, technological development for business development, and innovation management are carried out by Macondo, by the professors and researchers of Macondo. We do have to, follow all the norms and all the, the processes that the Ministry of Education and the academic director here in the university have. but we choose the professors, we choose the credits, we choose the programs, we choose everything, because we discovered that since we are part of the business world, work on a daily basis with companies, all the knowledge that they give us is very, very, very important for the training process of a student, either be an undergraduate program or a postgraduate or doctorate program. The other line of work, because we are in academy, is the research. We develop research activities focusing on generation of new knowledge and the integration of methodologies and models that enables business growth. We are a business growth center. We are focused on business growth, and that is important through technology and innovation. And finally, we have a line of work with public policy. We design, assess, and implement public policies to support local governments and also the national government in the execution of action and strategies that would solve problems that the Colombians have based on science, technology, and innovation. And one example of that is that we build a policy for the science, technology, and innovation strategy in Barranquilla. As a result, we carried out a program that is considered now the best public program that fosters technology-based startups in the country. And there's a national organization that give them the mayor of Barranquilla an award because of that program. It are those type of things that we do differently from other regions, because we understood that we, as academy, we cannot work alone. We need to partner with the local government, the national government, with other universities, with some consultancy firms, with the companies per se. Because at the end of the day, what we try to do is to impact our territory, and to be more competitive and to increase productivity. And at the end of the day, that has to reflect on the well-being of the people that live here in our territory. These are some of our figures. As I said before, Macondo was established in 2014. And even though those figures are important and they can tell a little bit about what they have done in these years, we like to say that Macondo has contributed to change the economy of at least Barranquilla, which is the city that we have worked with the longest period of time. In 2014, Barranquilla was not even considered as an entrepreneurial city. It was not even in the radar of the national government as a thriving entrepreneurial ecosystem. I mean, we were not even in the list of cities that might help change the economic development of the country based on startups. And Macondo decided to work with the local government and said, you know something, we can change that. And as a result of not only the work of Macondo, I mean, that's very naive to think that's only the work of Macondo, but all the universities and consultancy firms and companies and local government, we started to work together. And today, Barranquilla, 10 years later, is on the top 3 ecosystems, entrepreneurial and startup ecosystems in Colombia. People are looking at us on a daily basis. Yesterday, I received a visit from an incubator from the US that decided to open operations in Colombia, and they are open operations in Barranquilla. And because this is a small city, we know all the people from the ecosystem. The first conversation they wanted to have is with Macondo. They said, okay, so what we can do together? And that's the thing that makes us more proud, because we're working as team members on how to change the life of the people in Barranquilla and the Atlántico state. And it's very rewarding to see that new organizations coming to the city are not looking at us as a competition, but as someone that can help us as well, to give more prosperity to the city and our state. These are some success stories, and I've chosen this. We have, you see in there on our last slide, a lot of success stories, but I chose this because these are very close to my heart. Liquitech is one of the first fintech created here in Barranquilla. It's a factory in fintech. We not only developed the technology behind this fintech, but the CEO of this fintech is a wonderful woman, successful woman. She's growing in her business like crazy. And one day we were talking and she said, you know, Beatriz, if it was difficult for me as a woman here in Barranquilla to thrive and success, I can't imagine what can be to women in Barranquilla that didn't have the same opportunities as I did. We have to do something. And I say, okay, yes, let's talk about it. And now we're carrying out a program that is helping women in Barranquilla with less opportunities to at least think as a businesswoman and incorporating innovation and technology as part of their business model. It has been a challenge because, I mean, you gotta be aware that sometimes when you have to have a certain level of education or at least knowledge in order to have a successful business or at least a technology-based or innovative business. And it has been a challenge because the people with lesser opportunities, they don't have that same access to the education. So we started with the process of helping them understand that they can be also a successful businesswoman. And now the next step is going to be, okay, you're going to be a successful businesswoman, but also you have to prepare to do that. So we are carrying out training programs that they can handle with the limitation of time, because all of cultural aspects that they have, they are also mothers, also wives, and with the limitation and how we can deliver a training program that could help them improve their performance in their business. Mari is an artificial intelligence that we developed for the local government to help diagnose depression and anxiety, especially in teens. It is a no-brainer that nowadays, teenagers communicate easier with technology than with people. So we designed this artificial intelligence to detect what is going on with depression and anxiety in teenagers. And 37,000 or more teenagers were diagnosed. And with that information, the local government could carry out programs to help them overcome their depression and anxiety and help them have a better way of life. Patri is another artificial intelligence that we developed with a ophthalmologist clinic, local ophthalmologist clinic, to help diagnose glaucoma. And this is very interesting because when we started developing the technology, ophthalmologists were absolutely scared that this technology were going to replace them. So we didn't have not only we had the challenge to develop an artificial intelligence that was going to be, you know, very focused on the diagnosis and with excellent process of diagnosing glaucoma, but we have to work also with the ophthalmology, make them understand that this technology were not going to replace them. This technology was going to help them to carry out their jobs in an easier way because they spent almost 7 days in the diagnostic process and they have little time to invest in the treatment, which is what gives the added value not only to the clinic, but also to the patient. So we had to have a process with them to make them understand that if you don't spend a lot of your workday doing diagnosis, you can use that time to do what you have to do is help the people or the person overcome their illness, especially glaucoma. Another success story that is very dear to my heart because I was mentoring these companies is Horus. Horus is a automatic solution, you know, the one that you can control your energy consumption and the air conditioning. Here in Barranquilla, the cost of energy is very, very ridiculously expensive. So it made sense to have a technology which we help sophisticate because he came here with some sort of a technology, but we help them sophisticate. But most important, we said, okay, you cannot stay and sell only technology. If you only focus on selling technology, I mean, Chinese companies and companies that can do faster, better technology than you are going to take you out of the market. You have to do something different. You have to think different. And we change, we work together to change completely their business model. Now they're not, I mean, the technology is the means for energy efficiency. And they focused on the hospitality market, and they're not selling technology. As a matter of fact, the technology, they give away the technology. What the revenue comes from the savings that the hospitality industry have using this technology in the cost of the build of electricity and gas consumption. And they are growing like crazy. They began here in Barranquilla, but they expanded to the Caribbean and Central America, and now they're expanding to South America. And finally, the other success story that I wanted to bring is Sepia Rob. Sepia Rob is a drone for marine research. And it's also very dear to us because Sepia originated in a region of Colombia that, I mean, you don't have scientific development or R&D activities on a daily basis, which is San Andres. San Andres is an island in the northeast part of Colombia. Is actually nearer to Nicaragua than to Colombia. And we work with a team of researchers, local researchers, to build this drone. And not only it has a good capacity of going down, it has a scope of 500 meters of depth, but also the cost. We're aware that there are drones for undersea research around the world, but the cost of this has been able to carry out a lot of missions, scientific missions, not only for Colombia, but also in the Caribbean, because the cost efficiency of the equipment. And it was locally developed with the collaboration of a group of researchers outside the university and the team of researchers from the university. These are some of the awards that have been given and we have been recognized around the world. The recent one was the Ministry of Science, Technology and Innovation in Colombia gave us the recognition as a Productivity and Innovation Center. This is important because, like Itendra was saying in the beginning, we do work closely with the ministry. Actually, the government invest a lot in science, technology, and innovation activities. And to be recognized by them as a Productivity and Innovation Center, it means that they believe in the work that we have been doing for the last years in MacondoLab, and the outcome of our work is validated by them. Also, we have some recognition around the world, like the LATAM Accelerator, the UBI Global Index, the bank IDB, this is in Spanish, it's Banco Interamericano de Desarrollo, it's the Inter-American Development Bank. They have recognized Macondo and some other centers that have been originated within Macondo. And that's the next thing I want to talk about. all the technology that I spoke to you before was developed within the Fab Lab of Macondo. But last year, the principal of the university said that since we have been doing a lot of work with artificial intelligence and robotics, we deserve to strengthen our team to attract more talent in order to have more and better artificial intelligence and robotics working with the business sector and the corporate sector. And that's how Audacia was created. It's kind of a spin-off of MacondoLab. And what is meaningful is that in a very short period of time, the Organization for American States recognizes Audacia as the state-of-the-art artificial intelligence and robotics center for the Americas. I mean, all the process, all the things, how we do, the way that we carry out the technological development and innovation within Audacia is an example to follow in the Americas by the program that the Organization of American States carry out. And these are some of the innovations that we have also developed with Audacia. Like I told you, we focus on artificial intelligence and robotics, and we have been working not only with artificial intelligence to help students and to help training process, but also we have like a line of work, specialized line of work is a health artificial intelligence. So artificial intelligence that will help the medical field and the health field to improve their capabilities in diagnosing diseases in order for the medical professionals to focus on what gives really value added to the patient is the treatment and how to get well from the disease that they are suffering from. And specifically, there's one, Camille, when the pandemic started, Barranquilla, and I guess like the whole world were not prepared to handle this new disease that was changing the game around the world. So in the beginning, in order for you to have policies, the right policies, in order for you to have to make the better decision, you have to have information. And the results, because we didn't have the equipment of the test, were crazy. So we developed during the pandemic an artificial intelligence to elevate almost to 99% accuracy of the COVID test. With this information, the local government took and made very important decisions. And Barranquilla was considered in Colombia one of the cities that carry out more tests and carry out more solutions to attend the pandemic and the patients the pandemic. We were not aware of how many people were sick from COVID. So with that, the government, local government could establish permanent hospitals, but also elevate the ICU units, to elevate the professionals and to elevate the intermediate healthcare, depending on the stage of COVID that you were in. And this is the last thing that I want to share about. And because we have Macondo, because we created Audacia as a spin-off of Macondo, because we have a lot of other centers, the principal decided last year to not create, because you don't create an innovation district from ground zero and from one day to another. But since we have developed for the last 20 years capabilities in R&D and innovation, it was time to give Barranquilla an innovation district, and we named this innovation district Eureka. Eureka is the name or the umbrella for all the innovation centers and R&D centers that the university have. Well, Macondo is the front runner, but we work very closely with the other R&D and social innovation centers. And for example, the life science centers is the one that we work with to develop the artificial intelligence for the COVID test accuracy. We also have a marine science center. That's why we work with Macondo and then Audacia and then the people from SIGMAR to develop the drone that I was telling you before. We also have a climate change and biodiversity center. We have a social innovation center. And specifically, we have transporter study centers in our campus in Cúcuta, because the migration from Venezuela is a phenomenon that has been affecting the all the services that not only local, but also the migration population can access. So we try to understand what are the services that they need as a migration population, and try to elevate this conversation with the government in order to give a solution, not only for this population, for the migrating population, but also for a solution for the locals that have been affected with a population that they don't have the means how to help them, for instance, with health services and financial services, and whatever it is that the migrating population might need. And this is how we have wrote our story with R&D innovation in the university. And we hope we can still write some other chapters. These are some figures of all the centers. We have had 6 patents granted. That's why during the history of Macondo, with MacondoLab, but since Audacia increased the capabilities of doing technology, especially artificial intelligence and robotics, we have 27 more patents in progress, and we have helped or developed 803 innovations. We have 7 PhD programs, we have Scopus articles, we have 37 PhD students linked to R&D centers, and we have 46 research groups. Because we are within our university, but this university understood that they have to work with an ecosystem, with the business sector, with the government, with other universities. And this is important. With the program that we are carrying, we partner with IXL in Valledupar. We are not only working with companies, we're also working with the local chamber of commerce and also some universities to give them at least a model that they can follow up once we step out, for them to continue fostering innovation locally. And this is us. This is our short story of us. This is how we have accomplished the innovation process in our university. I don't know if you have any other question or some questions that you want me to answer.
Beatriz, that was fantastic. Great story. It's very broad. I mean, we're talking about entrepreneurship. You're talking about innovation in big companies. You're talking about startups. You're talking about R&D research. You're talking about connecting all the technologies which are out there in the world and combining them together to create what's next. A couple of thoughts which went through my head as I was listening to your presentation. First is congratulations. I think you guys have done a lot in a very short time. And it's something that Ron talks about, that in the 80s and 90s, things used to move, you could predict what was going to happen, and it would happen very slowly. And then in the last, maybe 2000, 2010, things were happening at about the right speed. But now what we're seeing is things are happening much faster. The number of startups that you put together, number of companies which are working with AI and technology and combining together, there's something which has changed, which allows everybody to be able to play now. There was a time that some of the startups you talked about, you would expect them at MIT or maybe somewhere in Tel Aviv, but now we got them in Macondo, we got them in Colombia, and some things have leveled. The playing field is leveling around the world. What do you think are the reasons why you guys are going as fast as you're going, and gives confidence to other people that if they start, they can also catch up or go as fast as you have done? What are the root causes for why you can go so fast and do so much?
Flexibility, Hitendra. I mean, when you're working with innovation and you're working with startups, you cannot have this, heavy programs or heavy methodologies and processes. I mean, you have to be fast, you have to be flexible, you have to be agile. Because technology, I mean, I know we're making local technology, but I know that somebody somewhere in the world, a group of researchers can come to the same conclusion. And if they have more, economic means, they can come here faster. So we have to be very agile. We have developed a model that helps us iterate. The technology is never, you will never have the last version of technology. But what you have to do is you have to iterate, go to the market, see what happens, and then come back and then adjust and then go again. I mean, you have to be iterating continuously in order to be agile and to respond to the market. And the other thing that I think is a phenomenon is that, at least in Colombia, or in the part of Colombia that we live in, is that people are really in love with their city. This is a city that gives good quality of life. They don't want to go to any other place because here we still go on a break lunch to home and we can share with our families. And we have a different, work day. We are still productive, we're still competitive, but in our way. And I think entrepreneurs and new business entrepreneurs are not willing to change that because they understood that part of living is having a good quality of life.
Beatriz, in Boston at MIT, there's a program called the ILP. It's a liaison program for corporations to partner with MIT research labs to be able to have access to the same technology or professors or ideas and teams. The challenge is and remains that the university is in the business of producing students who graduate and look for jobs, and professors are in the business of doing research which produces papers and maybe PhD students, while the corporates are saying, I need results now or in my cycle of the business cycles. And so we've got all this competing agendas, students with their own agendas, professors with their own agendas, startups with their own agendas, corporations with their own agendas. And it's a mess. It's really hard to manage all these different stakeholders. You have not only are you doing startups, you're also doing corporates. Not only are you doing corporates, you're doing R&D. So my question is, how are you managing all this? And I'll use the word, and any of my audience, please don't get offended, prima donnas. Prima donna professors, prima donna corporations, prima donnas who say it's all about me, but we need to somehow work together. How are you making them work together?
Okay, I think the secret is that in this university particularly, even though they are researchers, they have to be business people. And they are allowed to have companies. Researchers here, they don't have to share their revenues with the university because they build their own company, they develop the technology, we help them sophisticate the technology, but that's their technology. It's not ours. We don't know how to manufacture or to escalate a technology, and that's not our business. Our business is education. So that has helped us because what blocks prima donnas is the process of they're going to take the technology and they're going to do whatever with the technology and they're going to do with that a business and they're going to take me out of the business process. And these are universities said, no, don't get confused. You develop the technology. If you are a businessman or a businesswoman and are capable of escalating this technology into a successful startup, go ahead. Go ahead, we'll help you with that. And I think that it is very different from other universities in Barranquilla, Colombia, and I guess from around the world. But up to now, we don't mess with the things that we don't do. I mean, this university is not. If this university has a spin-off, it's going to be within the education system, not within the health system, for instance. And that has helped. And the other thing that has helped a lot is that, okay, you are prima donna, but you know something, you cannot do it alone. You have to collaborate. I mean, this is not a one-man show. This is a not lonely ranger show. I mean, you have to collaborate. I mean, if you are willing to collaborate and if you are willing to have to carry out a co-creation process, you are welcome. If you're not, well, what can we do about it?
Very good. Look, I think managing ecosystems is one of the hardest things to do, and keeping it engaged and excited, energized. And it seems that you're playing a leadership role as being the leader of the ecosystem. You're in the middle of it. And you are giving direction, strategic direction, by saying these are the centers of excellences we want to focus on and where we want to go. I have a question. In my work around the world with different universities and centers of excellences and all that, it seems that we are all gravitating to the same centers of excellences: AI, nanotechnology, robotics, industry 4.0. And it's the same language set that you hear all the time. How are you making yours different from that which could be in Bogota or in Sao Paulo or in other places? What is the unique thing about Barranquilla or Atlántico that you're injecting into AI or into robotics that says that ours certainly has a competitive advantage at minimum, or a differentiation from everybody else's?
Again, collaboration. I mean, it's not we have a name for each center, but it doesn't mean that we do not collaborate. I talk on a daily basis with the CEOs of the other centers. I mean, the CEO for the Life Science Centers is a wonderful woman, Natalie Galan. She's a postdoctorate in chemistry. And when COVID happened, she said that that was Disney work for her, because she worked and teamed with the virology team, also with us, because since Macondo assess public governments in policies, we have to work together. And it's not the work of an AI center. It's not the work only of Macondo. It's not the work only of the life science centers. I mean, it's the work of the people that are willing to make things different. We do have to have some centers to give some order to all these people and all this staff of talent people here in the university. But we do not work alone. I mean, that's why we work with you as well. That's why we are open to say, okay, so I have this gap of information or method or whatever it is. I need to bring somebody else to the team in order to give a complete solution to the market. And you have to understand that at least in this university, we are very, very worried about the impact, the social impact that science, technology, and innovation can carry to our territory. I think we do believe that science, technology, and innovation can change things, but we have to work, again, collaboration together. It's not very easy. It's not, I know it's not easy to find researchers willing to collaborate in such an easy way that we do it today. But this is a work that we have been, mindset that we have been changing for the last 10 years, and it is a must. There's a policy here by Paola, Paola, and if you're going to present a project, you cannot present it by yourself. You have to work with the other centers. You have to have to team, because the solution is not given by one center or by one team of researchers. The solution is—
That's wonderful. Beatriz, we believe that collaboration increases speed, reduces risk, and it's just good things happen when you work together. But it's hard, especially when there's not a governance or a formal structure or a reporting structure to do this. And you're doing that in a very flexible way, as you said. But flexibility with collaboration is key to making it happen. I see Cristanto's hand is up from Indonesia, so there's going to be a question from Cristanto. As we add him on there, Beatriz, the thing that I am trying to figure out is we're blurring the boundaries of who's going to do innovation and where does innovation happen. And everybody is saying it should be us, whoever we are as the aggregator. So Ruta N in Medellin feels they're the center of innovation for Medellin. And then you can go to maybe Bogota and might be the Chamber of Commerce, which says we are the ones who are going to be driving the ecosystem. And you are driving it as Macondo, as part of a university. The question I have is, clearly we all need to collaborate, but it requires somehow different players to get together because we don't have all the assets and all the pieces that makes an idea commercialized, right? So we don't have all the pieces. So as you think about it, when you got somebody like Ruta and then you guys, and then perhaps maybe a chamber sitting there, each one feels that they own the whole space.
Great.
How are you figuring a way to carve out a value chain on the ecosystem that says that everybody can win versus it's all mine?
Great. We don't get into that conversation. I mean, I mean, it's not who's the owner of the ecosystem. It's what is it that you do that give added value to that ecosystem. We are very aware that technology development, research is what we bring, and innovation is what we bring to the table. What is it that you bring? Because, I mean, it's nonsense to get into that conversation because the prima donnas are not only within the university, but also the ecosystem. And we don't even get into that conversation. I mean, we keep it simple. We keep it simple. I mean, what is it that you bring to the table to tackle this challenge? Okay, let's do it. If not, if we cannot agree on it, well, we won't do it.
Good. Cristanto, you have a question? Please tell us who you are and where you're from.
Hello, Beatriz. Congratulations. Cristanto from Jakarta, Indonesia.
Thank you.
I'd like to learn a lot on the way you solve this classical problem. I believe that you know the jargon of triple helix, right? Academics collaborate with business and the bureaucrats and the government. And we believe that it can work, but we have been trying that for years. Not very much successful, but let me focus on one big question. When we talk about business people, with business people, then the mindset is, this is mine. They are egoists. If you want to work with us, this is the non-disclosure agreement, secrecy agreement, blah, 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 right? But when you're talking about academics that love to publish journals, share with people with pride that they've got something, let the world knows how great they are. So when we bring them together to collaborate, that is our main problem, because they don't really agree on whether there should be a secretive or to other people in the world, or they have just share win-win and things like that. But business people don't like it. The argument is, if we share things, our competitor will run faster than us, and then we are dead, kind of thing. So how do you solve that problem?
Making the researchers part of the company. Yeah, that's it. If they are part of the revenue and they, I mean, have a different, for us in the university, researchers that are part of a business, a new business or a startup, it has no conflict with their income from the university. It's a different income.
Yeah, we tried that too, but the problem is then the academics, the researchers will have problem with their colleagues then in the university.
Why?
Because they don't like this strange behavior of this scientists.
And then you gotta get that a group of people that will change the thing. And about how to work with the government. Well, I used to be part of that bureaucracy. I was part of the team that created the innovation agency here in Colombia. So what the university said was, hey, come work with me. And they said, yeah, come here. We need you here because we need to understand. Again, if you think that the knowledge only comes from your university, I mean, you're going to have a lot of challenges. You have to put up a team with the people that know what the challenges that you want to overcome. I used to be part of the bureaucracy that you're talking about, and now in my economy, who knew?
Yeah, but the thing, since you are an academic, also once a bureaucrat, so they don't like the idea of flexibility, right? And then compromising things. They work with rules and mechanics and things like that, and then the bureaucracy. So how do you yourself as a bureaucrat, how do you change that?
It's a mindset. I mean, you have to fight. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. And I think one of the attendees here is Alicia. Alicia is working with you, right, Hitendra? Alicia used to be
Yes.
part of the government.
Yes.
It takes you know, you've got to identify. Okay, let me put it this way. When you're going to hire somebody, and you say that you're looking for an engineer, I don't know, whatever, you're going to do a selection process. You're not going to hire the first one that said, I want to work with you. You have to have a selection process. It's exactly the same. Find out what people with the experience you want to incorporate in your team. People that think as you, people that have the same shared values and shared vision. You're not going to bring somebody that is not willing to change. It's exactly like a selection process in a company. You have to interview them, whatever.
Yeah, I think Beatriz Cristanto is talking about exactly what, I think your solution is suggesting is a good solution, but this problem is very hard to solve because it's a people issue.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got people involved, we got this type of challenges. I want to interrupt because it's 10:05. This meeting was supposed to end at 10 o'clock. I would like to thank everybody who's been on this webinar. Thank you very much for listening on this topic. We're going to continue talking, but we want to give people a chance to leave if they need to leave. Beatriz, thank you very much for giving us a platform to talk about that it can be done. It's not easy. It requires flexibility. It requires collaboration. And it requires this real filtration of saying, maybe you don't need to partner with everybody. If you're selective, you might be able to build the right ecosystem. And that's what I'm hearing a lot from what Beatriz is saying. And therefore, Beatriz and GIMI and IXL have had a long partnership because there's something about how she works and how we work that hopefully creates this belief that we are looking out for each other while making sure we are each being successful.
Exactly. I just want to say a final thought is everything is possible. You'll just have to make it happen with the right team, with the right resources. Everything is possible.
So everybody who's on this call, please reach out to Beatriz. She's here. She's available. She's looking for collaboration and partnering. Make sure you are ready to partner. Make sure you're ready to collaborate. Make sure you understand the rules of collaboration. And there's certainly going to be a win-win for everybody if you do that. And so with that, I'm going to bring this session to an end. But for everybody else, please stay on and we'll continue the discussion. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Hitendra. Thank you so much, guys, for giving me the chance and the opportunity to share our story. And hopefully you learn something from it.